So one of our trucks, that's a Columbia glider kit. That's one of our best fuel mileage trucks. You know the fuel mileage. Do you want to share? Welcome to the Truckyyoo podcast. My name is Sebastian.
My name's Jose, guys.
How's it going?
Good, brother.
Good. I'm excited for today. We are going to talk about fuel mileage, good truck, old truck versus good versus new truck.
Versus new trucks, yeah.
I'm trying to say good truck versus bad truck. I'm not sure why. So new trucks fuel efficiency versus old trucks fuel efficiency. Right? There's some. I think it's a good topic for a couple of reasons. One, we're going to try to cover as many angles as possible because I feel like when I was doing research for this, there's this partial information out there, and I think I would like to maybe cover as much as we can.
As much as we can, yeah.
Plus, that will hopefully initiate some comments and engagement with people, because I want to shine a light on, hey, we're going to have a new truck with a good fuel mileage. Are old trucks also capable of good mileage? Fuel mileage doesn't make sense, and when it actually works and when it doesn't work. So we're decked out with a lot of equipment today. iPads, computers, and good two reasons. You want to talk about why? What are we looking at our screens? We have some reports.
Yeah, we're using our electronic logbooks. We're comparing the fuel mileage between a couple units.
Yeah.
They're doing the same runs, owner operators, and we have company drivers that we're comparing.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have a little example numbers we whipped out to kind of look at the difference in cost. And we have a loud. I don't know who's doing that, but
he's doing a center bearing.
Yeah. Those one of our Volvos. So it's going to be a little noisy for a little bit. Hopefully that's not going to bother anybody. But we are at the shop. So before we start, how's it going? Everything good?
Good. Right now I'm going to be putting together that 52 finally, that glider.
Nice. Yeah. Got
the bottom end torqued down. So right now I'm building the pistons and liners. Going to be dropping that in later.
Cool.
Tired of seeing that truck in here.
I know. So you've been jumping between the trucks left and right, but we haven't really had any other big projects other than trying to finish that. There's one more that we're putting in that's going to be done soon, but
we got that D13 for a customer.
Yeah, for a customer that is an owner op that is getting. What do you want to explain? What's being done over there?
Yeah, that one was customer came in here wondering if we can quote him out an overhaul. And we asked him why or what the scenario was. Other shop was quoting like 30 something thousand. Mm-hmm. When we asked them what was the reason, and they're like, oh no, the other shop apparently said that pistons got damaged and whatnot. He towed the truck over here. We took a look at it and did any pistons. Cylinders were looking good, so all it needed was a head cylinder head.
Yeah,
it dropped the valve.
Mm-hmm.
But he was lucky enough that the valve didn't drop. It dropped a little bit, and the piston, it has no contact on the piston at all.
Oh wow, that's good.
So
that
he got really lucky.
A lot of money. Yeah.
Really lucky.
Yeah, that saved them a lot of money. Perfect. Anything else as far as pretty much we covered. Other than
we got a trans right here on the D12. That's a weird one as well. I test drove it.
Mm-hmm.
There is some grinding, but that's like once you're in like 8th gear. And the weird thing about it is once you let off the throttle, so you'll be, let's say you're cruising 65, no issue. As soon as you let off the throttle and give it gas again, it starts grinding. And it will the shifter will stay in gear. It's not going to pop out. And it's just, you have to take it out of gear and drop a gear, and then the grinding will go away. And again, in that lower gear that you dropped already, you let off the throttle and do the same thing, same scenario is going to happen.
So what do you think that is?
I don't know. Me and Tony, we're looking at it right now. It's possibly, we're looking at the diffs right now. We're looking at the diffs, the synchro on the back end of the transmission.
Mm-hmm.
There was no shavings in the transmission at all.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when a synchro fails, you test drove 90.
Mm-hmm.
Once you bring up the range, it'll start grinding or down. and doesn't do that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's oddball.
Yeah, power divider.
That could be so. Yeah.
Let's look at that. Okay, perfect. Let's kick it off. So let's talk about fuel mileage. We're gonna try to make it as not boring as possible about. And we're gonna cover some of the obvious things, but I want to more maybe share some info about some of our units, and we're gonna bring in a couple additional factors like how much the truck actually we spend on, which I actually looked at the maintenance other than regular PMs. There's not a lot of them, right? But let's kick it off with, okay, what do you think with new truck versus old truck fuel mileage? As far as is it a rule that a new truck has always, what's the narrative that's out there that you're seeing that we might necessarily we might not disagree, we don't agree with?
So I'm assuming that people are believing that the newer trucks get better fuel economy, and that is due to the aerodynamics.
Mm-hmm.
That could be one of them.
Yeah.
Also, you do have new internal components. But again, it has a lot to do with where you're hauling, weight, everything. That all has to do with it. And most importantly, is the way that the driver drives the truck.
Yeah.
You gotta be responsible. You can't be a dick with the truck.
I know, exactly. But
pedal to the metal.
Yeah, it is. There's how I want to look at it is there's so many variables that come into one as far as fuel mileage that I would like to cover all of them today. But there's just so many different variables and factors that add up to a good fuel efficiency. It's worth talking about that. It's not always the new truck is going to have the best fuel efficiency, and that is the case. A lot of the new trucks are sold, hey, this is a great fuel economy truck, and they do have good fuel mileage.
It is possible to reach it.
We'll get to it why they actually have it, because I wanted to bring a report of. I'm going to start with a report on our fuel consumption for a month of November, actually, because we're doing this in December. So I'm looking at my three top, not top ones, but the good ones the ones that I wanted to bring up, and then the lowest ones, right? And what they're doing, just to give you kind of context of how to set. We want to set the context of what we're talking about here. So one of our trucks, that's a Columbia glider kit. That's one of our best fuel mileage trucks. The fuel mileage. Do you want to share?
I was surprised with that one. You said 7.9, right?
Yeah. And that's one of our units that you just overhauled in like a year ago?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it almost gets 8 miles to the gallon on the glider, right? And this is based on, so let me just it was a month of November. He's about 8,000 miles, right? So he's a local truck. The next one that I wanted to bring in was a Volvo D13. That's 7.22, and that also has it has a little bit less mileage, but let's stick to the 8,000. It's less than 8,000, but similar mileage. And then the other one is an owner up, which is a 2015. Those are the three upper bracket good fuel mileage, which is over 7. Is 706. It's a Freightliner day cab Cascadia for local work he's doing. Yeah. Right. And that's I don't remember his engine.
That's a DD15, so that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
We got D13, DD15, and the Series 60.
Yeah. Yes. So our Series 60 glider is 7.94, and that's a
10-speed.
That's a 10-speed, which I think has a direct drive.
Yeah, and the ratio on that one, I want to say it's like roughly like 355, 358, 358.
Then that would be a single overdrive. It would be lower if it was direct drive. From what I don't want to say who built that one, but it's not. That's not a direct drive, because the other ones were direct. So this one is overdrive. So that's a good one. All right, the 32 Volvo D13 has 7.22, and that's a direct 2015 Yes, from the fleet that had spec those truck direct, which we know because we looked at the ratios, and I think they're, I don't want to lie.
I think it's like a 274 around that range. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's 270 or 287. So you have that Volvo with the direct drive, automatic transmission, and then the owner is I think it's a manual
10
15
speeds.
manual day cab, and he's hitting 706, right? The lowest ones, just to give you around, this is a different mileage range because those are OTR trucks.
Wait. But you know why he's getting the most fuel mileage? He's a day cab, a lot less weight.
Yes, true. That's
True.
That also is a factor. Weight of the truck is very, for sure interesting.
But still not bad for a
it.
DD15.
No,
that's not bad.
It's not bad. And then the lower bracket, we have those guys were local. The other guys that I'm talking about is, well, now we're talking about somebody that actually is possibly adding more idle time into how they're running. Right, they're doing a lot more mileage. They're OTR, and so let me start with 3 again. We have also a glider that has a pretty bad fuel mileage, which is 5.9. Okay, so that's a Cascadia glider that we have with a manual transmission. He did do a lot of mileage. He did do. No, he didn't. He was around 9,000. So. Okay, so we definitely have to look at this. Why it's doing that, right? And then you have a D13 Volvo, which is 2016 iShift. He did a lot of mileage. He did. I don't even want to say, but he did a lot. And you're looking at about 5.5. But he idles a lot.
Yeah, he sure does.
Think.
Yeah.
And he's usually, when he has downtime, he just lives in the truck. So, and then the other one is 50, which is also our glider. It also has a pretty bad fuel mileage, 5.5.
5.5, and that's a Cascadia, right? With
it's also OTR. He does a lot of mileage back and forth. So both of those Cascadias with those 12.7 Detroits are not doing too good, which we should probably look into it. I think this is month of November, so it already cooled off. There's a lot of idling. They're doing a lot of work that requires them to stay out OTR. So that all adds up to it. Right? I should probably look at a report for summer.
For summer, yeah, the cold weather does affect it.
But let's talk about the possibility of bad fuel mileage because of weather, because it's cold, right? Diesel engines don't like cold. So as far as maintenance, I pulled a report for maintenance, and I don't really see, to be honest with you, anything that just typical maintenance for the last 2 months. I looked at the last 2 months because this is November, and I went October, November, and as far as looking at was there something major that we did, and then I looked the entire year. Was there something major on those trucks that we used, that we worked on, and 32 had new injectors.
That D13.
The D13 that has a very good fuel mileage had new injectors put in February.
Not bad.
So that's pretty. And I know he idles. I think he could be better, but all the mileage could be better, right? But that's the lower bracket and the upper bracket of what we're talking about. Let's set a benchmark. What is a good fuel mileage for a truck?
I'd say the ideal would be 6.5 and up. Obviously, you want to be higher. Who doesn't? Yeah. More money in your pocket.
Yeah, you want to be around 7.
But
some trucks. If that doesn't believe sometimes that you have a good there, it's ridiculous. I don't want to get into that. It's a different subject, but
that you have a great fuel mileage.
Yeah. It's such a headache because you should be 6.
Yeah,
you should be 6 and there are actually trucks that are fuel efficient, but completely different subject. But the new ones are advertised as 8, right? Is 8? That's a good one. That's a good fuel mileage for a new truck. That's a good fuel mileage for any truck, and I know of gliders that do 8.
Yeah, we got that one, 7.9. That's
exactly
right there.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty strange because the first three that you mentioned, those guys are regional, and then with the higher fuel mileage and the lower fuel mileage were OTR.
Mhm. The idle is messing
Yeah,
it up.
then that's what's messing it up. Yeah.
Mhm. If those guys come back, go home. The other ones
True.
are sleeping. Some of them are staying over. Like they're doing the 34 in trucks.
Okay.
So that's not good for me at all as far as them staying out. But we would like to talk about that. It's just not a straightforward answer. Is the new truck better than the old truck? The way the way I want to frame it is, it's not as simple as that, because the narrative oftentimes is, well, just buy a newer truck and you're gonna have a better fuel mileage than it just, and it's just somewhat inaccurate, because are we talking about a brand new truck 0 to 3 under warranty, or are we talking about 3+ right after warranty newer trucks, right? Because to some, 2018, 19,
That's a new truck to me.
that's a new truck. That's still a new truck,
Yeah.
right? New trucks to a big company are going to be 0 to 3 for buying, a fleet of new trucks, and to some, to those same guys, 4-year-old truck is already old truck, right? So there's a difference in definition and how, or like subjective kind of, is a 4-year-old truck, 5-year-old truck old? Well, it's used, but it's not old, right?
Yeah.
The lifespan in semi trucks is a lot longer. Therefore, if you look at 2016 car, is it an old car? It's a used car,
Yeah.
right? I wouldn't call it an old
I wouldn't
car.
call it no.
So I just want to set it straight, because I want to talk about, what truck do you want to buy? Like, what's the answer to the fuel mileage, right? So let's talk about the new truck, 0 to 3, right? Does it make sense to buy a 0 to 3 brand new truck that has 8 miles to the gallon, right?
In my opinion, no.
Okay.
No.
If you just bring up your mic a little bit. If you're doing OTR, if you're buying a new truck, and you have it covered under warranty, the only thing you have to worry about is pretty much downtime, right? You don't know how long the dealer is going to take to fix it if something goes wrong. Your possibility of having issues is a lot less, but it does happen a lot.
It does happen, yeah.
But then let's talk about what happens. Well, is that the trend? No, it's. I feel like owner operators usually don't look at that 0 to 3 year, the new to 3-year-old that's under warranty. That's more of the fleets market, and the owner ops are looking at something a little older after the fleets sell off the units, right? So that's 4 years right after warranty. So you have that additional cost that's coming your way. And the topic is, well, maybe what doesn't make sense to buy an older pre-emission even truck or a glider versus, because then we would have to do a comparison between like a 2016 glider versus 2016 used normal emissions truck, right? But the case is, well, don't look at only one thing, because if you can't afford that new truck under warranty, then maybe it does make sense for your operation. But if you know that a warranty ended for that emissions trucks, and even though it's getting 8 miles to the gallon, does it still make sense to buy that truck?
It's like a ticking bomb, right?
And then that's why I did the comparison on with all the numbers, right? So think about it, and you also have price and how much it's actually costing you, financing, all that stuff, adds to it, because a lot of leasing companies or finance companies will finance the truck at 18%, which is crazy.
That's crazy,
right? It doesn't make sense, but that comes down to why it comes down to multiple things. Like, if you're not ready to buy a truck, don't buy a truck, because the interest rate is going to eat you. It's super expensive. Ask me how I know. And so what I did is I did a comparison on 3 trucks, and one is 6 miles to the gallon. One is 7 miles to the gallon, and the other one. Let's pretend it's a new truck. It's 2008. Or 2008. What I'm talking about, 8 miles to the gallon, right? So 6 miles to the gallon, 7 miles to the gallon, and 8. Based on 3,000 miles a week, which is not. It's a decent amount of mileage for a weekly truck, but I wanted the numbers to be somewhat simple. Fuel price at $3.50. Right, so $12,000. 12,000 miles a month for the 6, and I'm gonna post it in the video too. For the 6 miles to the gallon truck, you're pretty much looking at about 2,000 gallons times 3.5. That's about $7,000 in fuel cost a month. Okay. The same math for the 7 miles to the gallon truck is $5,999 a month in fuel cost. So $1,000 difference. It's a lot. Right, that's $12,000 a year. Just weekly, one truck cost was $1,750. The other one was $1,500. Right. So the 8 miles to the gallon is a lot lower. It's $5,250 a month in fuel. So that's between the 6 miles to the gallon and the 8 miles to the gallon. It's $1,800, $1,850
a month.
$1,750 difference. $1,700 in difference in fuel price. That's finance payment for a truck.
Yeah, true.
Right? Yeah. So now the difference is significant. You have serious savings in the 8 miles to the gallon. But the 8 miles to the gallon, when your truck goes out of warranty, we want to talk about now the additional cost that you're getting, because some guys will do that mistake. Oh, that's a new truck. It does 2019. I'm just going to buy it because it's still
under warranty.
Or maybe either warranty. Yeah, but so we have 2022 going to it. So the 19s are not going to be. Yeah. They're not going to be under warranty. And that's particularly what I'm talking about. Is a fleet sold it, and now you're following. Hey, I'm just going to buy the newest truck possible.
Right.
But you have additional costs coming your way that doesn't exist in the older trucks, and specifically pre-emissions in gliders. And I'm not making a case here for it. Everybody knows we like gliders, but what I want to do is paint the full picture. Right. So once you buy that 2019 Volvo, which you think looks cool, it's a new truck, beautiful. Well, okay, my fuel mileage is 8, but now what else am I gonna address?
You're gonna be looking into the after treatment after that mileage. Yeah, it's gonna be a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, I'm pretty sure with that mileage, like 3 years, you're probably looking at like $450. Depends how you're running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
$450.
Yeah. So let's. All right. DPF DOC. Just shoot out numbers when I run through it. Cleaning DPF DOC right after that.
You're probably looking parts and labor. You're probably looking like $1,000. Yeah.
SCR. 7,000 if you have to replace it, and you that $500,000 mile mark is pretty real for SCR.
Yeah.
To be swapped. That's a total of $8,000. NOx sensors, NOx, $1,000.
$1,000 replacing both. Yeah.
That's $9,000. The additional cost that you have. Well, and we're not even like. Well, you have to swap labor is not included in this.
No.
And so all of a sudden you're saving if you're still getting 8, because I highly doubt it after
down the
3
road
years you're getting that advertised fuel mileage. It's going to drop to 7. Even 7 is good, right? You still have $1,000 difference a month in fuel between the 6 miles to the gallon versus 7 miles to the gallon. But there's additional cost with those newer trucks too that you have to take into consideration, and that is
DEF.
That's one.
That's also too.
Also transmission.
Yeah.
All right.
Automatic transmissions.
They usually come the new trucks usually come with a lot more new with automatic transmissions, and that's also what's contributing to the good fuel mileage is the direct drives. The direct drive spec, the I-shifts, the DT12s are direct drive transmissions, and that's why the mileage is good.
That's the way they're able to meet
it's contributing. Yeah, it's contributing to it. So you could also do that with a manual transmission. You could find a direct drive transmission older truck without any issues, right? So just service on transmissions plus all emissions, it's adding up a lot very quickly, right? You can, right after that warranty, you're looking at tens of like $15,000 with
that you're going to spend.
Yeah, that will probably come your way without even considering how shops just like to bill it out and throw parts at things. I just had a call with one of our subscribers, and he's like, "Hey, like I've just spent $12,000 and it's still not fixed." And I've helped them with somebody else. I've sent them to a good guy. But it not even taking that into consideration, you still you have a hefty bill with that new truck that might happen, right? So what the point I'm making is, look at all the variables, because in our opinion, I think still gliders are probably the best one, ways, right? You have the great aerodynamics for new trucks, but you can also get a good aerodynamic glider. But what are some of the things that you can do in an older truck to make the fuel mileage go up?
Oh, like we always mention, that's going to be boost leaks. That's one of the biggest issues. Check for any boost leaks. You're losing boost pressure anywhere. Another one would be valve adjustments. That's a big one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Engine air filter. Boost leaks. That's a big one. Loss of power. That's going to be contributing to loss of power. Fuel economy. Valve adjustments. That's a big one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Staying on top of that. Obviously, with that, that's injectors, adjusting the injector.
Temperature of the engine. That's something that definitely is.
Yeah, if you're running colder, obviously you're going to be consuming more fuel. So keep an eye on the coolant temperature. Sometimes if your thermostat's running, let's say like 170, 160, there's a few guys out there driving like that, and it's consuming more fuel.
Yeah.
Or if your fan's running all the time. Don't be cheap. Fix that fan clutch or the solenoid.
Yeah. Or check it, because you might not know that.
Yeah. If it's constantly running.
Mm-hmm. You can do filter.
Engine air filter.
That quality air filter that either you can look at some of the filters out there on the market that you can just reuse all the time and wash them. That's one option. They have also a lot more air going through them. They're better quality filters, just like the paper ones. Tires, right? Reducing rolling resistance, including speed, right? Fleets will tell you we have 8 miles to the gallon. Well, yeah, because your truck is 65 miles or 63 miles to the gallon, right? So fuel efficiency is directly related to the driver's behavior behind the wheel, how fast he's going, what's the policy for the fleet? Are they cutting the speeds down? They're looking for savings, so they're going to come up with hey, let's limit it to 63, and then we have a great fuel mileage, but that also would be met with an older truck if you slow down to 63. I drove those D12s at 63 miles per hour, and I was like 7.5, 8. It's doable.
It's doable, especially at that mileage at 63, like you said.
Yeah. Synthetic oils versus mineral oils. Wheel covers, that's something you can add on to trucks. I've used them. It's not like it's going to show up on your fuel mileage, but it just contributes to it.
The side skirts on the dry vans.
Side skirts.
Reefers.
Yeah. Fast system.
That one, yeah.
That helps you deliver
That's
better
probably
fuel.
One of the, I would say, it's on the pricier side to invest.
It is, yeah.
But you'll get your money back.
Mm-hmm. rolling, like I said, reducing rolling resistance to that comes down to tires.
Tire pressure.
If tire pressure, but what type of tire? Compound and thread.
Yeah.
You want to look at the, don't look at super singles. I don't really recommend them. I've used them, but I would say quality tire that has a good rolling resistance, and you can look at the rolling resistance in every manufacturer's brochures. They should tell you the rolling resistance of each drive tire that you're doing. So what we're talking about is comparing, one to the other, old versus new, doesn't really do any favors to anybody.
No.
Because there are so many new older trucks that have a good fuel mileage, but the additional cost in newer trucks of emissions and the potential problems you have related to emissions even the savings are not worth it. The downtime. I'm not even counting the downtime.
Downtime. That's a big factor right there.
Yeah, like try to diagnose a pre-emission truck versus an emission truck, and the downtime, like how much it extends the downtime for an emission truck, and you try to figure things out. And those guys are calling us, say we've spent. Aside the guy that I mentioned, we had one before that did the same thing that we helped him through. It was his transmission issue, I think. Same thing. He spent money, and there was no results in getting it fixed, and he didn't drive. One of our owners said the thing. The truck was down for a month, different shops, and then he came here, and then I was like, we'll fix it for you as our own, as an owner op in our company, but I wouldn't do it obviously for him as a customer, because he came here, he was like, hey, can you guys help me? I'm like, he was looking for work. I'm like, hey, so if you drive for us, we'll be able to pull you in and schedule you in, but we're not going to be able to do it. And finally, the shop that he had, they were just BSing him left and right. It was crazy. I was like, this is just show me what they're saying. It was just such a BS. It's anyway, the downtime he had on that was unbelievable, right? So look at, is the truck warranted? If your truck is warranted, and you're always going to do that, you're always going to swap that truck for a warranted unit, and you're doing OTR, and your revenue is there, and you have the financial support to buy a truck at a good with a good term, with not high cost to you as far as interest rate. Then maybe that makes sense, right? But then just be aware that when you're starting looking at the newest truck possible, and doesn't have warranty on it anymore, and it's starting to become a pretty big gamble, right?
Pandora's box.
It is Pandora's box. Yeah, even if the truck is well maintained, if their fleets are selling the trucks, they're not going to swap SCR units.
No way. No.
If they will, they'll keep those trucks a lot longer too, But, yeah. So just to recap, I want to make sure that, if you can compare, apples to apples, then we would have to stick with. I don't even know what's a fair comparison with a new truck and an old truck.
Well, we're gonna get some good information. We have 2 units, both Cascadias. One's a DD15, that's owner operator, and then we have a Cascadia with Series 60. They both do the same exact runs. They work at night. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, and I have it right now here. 5.9 is which is not a good. This is not a good comparison. This is not a truck that actually has a good fuel mileage, right? So we're almost 6 here. We're both very close to 6. They're both 5.95. They're pretty much doing a similar amount of mileage. One is a glider, the other one is an emission truck, and they're both 2015s or 16s, I think.
Yeah,
16s.
One is a 13-speed and one's a 10.
Both manual. Both Cascadias, literally the same truck. One is a glider with a manual 13. One is a 10-speed DD15 emission truck. And from and it's not deleted. It has it. It has the emissions. I've looked at our maintenance records, and I've seen his truck here more than I've seen our glider for the last year.
50, right?
A lot more than we did our, and he also repairs it outside. He has a mechanic outside of our shop. So to be fair, I don't know his repair costs, but just on our maintenance, he's been spending a lot more time here trying to. Recently, he had issues with. Were we cleaning his DPF? Something was going on with his truck. Do you remember?
That was like midsummer. That was like midsummer. I think he had like a DOC inlet pressure sensor going out on his truck,
Yeah.
but.
So we'll pull out. I'll ask him for the records if he has them. I don't know if he keeps records, but the fuel mileage is pretty much the same. The only difference is the emissions. I think the mileage that he. Do you recall his mileage on this thing?
On that, I would say it's in the 650 to 700,000 miles.
Oh, let me see if I can pull him up in our system. There you go. His mileage right now is 660,000 now. So,
And our glider, what's that at?
800.
800.
So it has a lot
yeah.
more. Yeah. So if we hit that, like if we're gonna overhaul it, we'll definitely see an increase.
Yeah.
In the fuel mileage. But to summarize, it's not as simple as the narrative is, hey, buy the newest truck.
You're going to get the best fuel mileage.
No. Sometimes the gains you have with fuel mileage, and as you can see in our example on at 3,000 miles, it's $1,000 a month, right? So it is a significant difference. But the whole story is the truck that gets 6 and the truck that gets 7 and 8, what additional costs you have associated with them. Do you know the truck? Do you drive the truck the way it's supposed to be? Do you drive the truck
responsibly
to save fuel? Is what I'm getting at. And then the newer truck, yes, if it's under warranty, it makes sense. If it's not under warranty, be careful and make sure that you take into consideration the additional cost plus the fuel savings.
Aren't going to be there forever.
Yeah, think about it, if you're, let's say, in best case scenario here, you're saving, the difference in fuel mileage is $15,000 on that 8 miles to the gallon
A year.
Yeah, that's $1 cost.
That's exactly where I was going to go to. If you're good with your money and you're saving that savings, I mean, yeah, I guess it could make sense.
That's what it would cost you to put a new $1 in it.
Yeah.
On the Volvo and Freightliner.
Yeah.
Aside from not even talking about the transmissions, right?
True.
The issues with, you really don't
harness,
have issues till about 700,000. I would say 800,000.
Yeah, clutches, you're going to be looking at 700,000.
Yeah.
At least that's what we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So harness and keeping the batteries clean, that's pretty much it. But
yeah. But the biggest problem with that is, even when you have issues with those newer trucks and it's just a sensor, it costs you so much money to not only diagnose it, swap it out, downtime. Have those guys figure it out which sensor, and is it a sensor or is it a harness, is what's creating so many issues. You know what I mean?
And with the shortage of parts right now, it's
that's another thing. But yeah, that's our opinion, and it seems complex. I think we covered everything. I don't think we missed anything, to be honest with you, other than just what you can do, like the parts we've talked about to increase your older truck fuel efficiency. With the new ones, if you're still getting 8 after the warranty is done, great. Keep an eye on it. Put the savings somewhere. If you can afford a truck that has a warranty, and then we could talk about aftermarket warranties. And that's a different subject too. Like, okay, your manufacturer warranty expired, but now we can buy additional warranty. Is that worth it? I don't want to get into it. We're already at 30 minutes here. So that's pretty much it. Comments, questions, guys. If you have any, go visit our owner-operator forum Facebook group. We can chat about those things there, and then comments. Make sure you leave some comments.
Anything we left out, make sure to leave it in the comments.
Yeah. Give us your experience with fuel mileage, new trucks versus old. Like, share your fuel mileage. Like we shared today our fuel mileage, which 8 miles to the gallon on a glider. That's pretty good. But share your fuel mileage in the comments, and we'll have some fun with it. So we appreciate you. Subscribe, share, and we'll talk to you soon.